Or alive.
Yep, we're live.
Hey, it's Chris. I'm gonna stand the hard way. And today we want to talk about something. We want to talk about the difference between what ought to be and what is. We got a friend of ours, Lawson Lawn and Farm, and he's just started a channel. And I've been talking to him a little bit. He's at the about 2/3 of the way to the other end of the state from us, North Carolina. And it was fascinating. We were talking about the differences that 50 or 60 miles make in what you do. Like potatoes. We got potatoes about a foot tall. It really set mine out late, according to what my daddy would have told me. And they're just sitting there's out. Difference in the weather. Just a few miles makes a big difference in things. And that's important. That's something you need to know. Just a few miles can make a big difference in your zone or climate, or these things people don't understand. And me and him were talking about the difference between these old farmers, these folks that used to have to grow a crop to live, to survive. My daddy, my granddaddy. When my daddy was younger, if your garden failed, you went hungry. If your neighbors wouldn't help feed you. If your pigs died, your cows died or something, you went hungry. They had to know what they were doing. They had to know what they were doing. Survival depended on it. Now, honestly, our survival don't depend on the garden. We do have enough money we can go to the grocery store if the crop fails. But that's not the way I look at it. I look at it that I'm growing what I eat. I intend to grow it as much of it as I can. And we catch some slack every once in a while because we tend on a row in the old-fashioned way. What people don't realize, that's just a raised bed. That's called a bed. I call it a row, but technically it's a bed. When you run a row, you're bedding a row. So technically it's just a raised bed. You just do it with a tractor and do them every year. The purpose of that row is it drags all your fertilizer, your manure, whatever you put out there, it drags it all up into one spot. Gives a plant a whole lot better chance. It's really the way we were showed how to do it when we got here. Where they used to mound up a mound of dirt and put the squash, the bean, and the corn in it with the dead fish buried under it. It's really the same idea. It's the way they've always done it for hundreds of years. But there's a big difference in playing at this stuff and doing it serious. There's a big difference. That's something me and him were talking about, is there's just so much wrong information. And I've talked to the older farmers around here, the people that grew up having to grow what they ate. And they've watched, apparently smartphones have got to be a thing. I'm the last person still got old flip phone. I guess they don't sell flip phones anymore. And some of these old guys in the 70s, 80s, 90s around here have finally got smartphones. They got to watching YouTube on account of me, because I had the YouTube thing. And they come up here right steady showing me videos that, now any fool knows that won't work. We're already doing it that way. I've seen 2 or 3 videos showing to do it this way. To know it won't work. That ain't right. You can tell right there. They pulled them plants up somewhere else to come set them out. We looked at the video the other day with cabbage, and you can tell that they went somewhere had red dirt and pulled them up and set them out somewhere had black dirt, mulch. They still had red dirt stuck to the thing where they'd been pulled up and transplanted, grown plants to make it look like they done a good job of growing. Just so much false information, so much stuff that ain't right. We have to deal with it every day. I try to help these folks around here that are starting out. They bought them a little place. They're trying to start tending a little farm, and I had to fight it. I had to argue with them. It usually takes them about 2 years to figure out I was telling them the truth. But a lot of this stuff you see ain't right. And a lot of it, some of it may work somewhere, but it won't work here. Always remember that. You might can't watch me tend a garden in East North Carolina and tend one in southern Mississippi or Missouri or Montana. I mean, things change. They can change in 20 miles, what works and what don't. Like here, you can't put black plastic down and tend nothing through black plastic. It'll cook it. in August. Wood chips. It's a little bit of a joke. But if I lay this weed hoe on the ground, I better pick it up quick, termite seed will have in it before I can get it back off the ground. We got termites terrible. And in this old saying, if you look it up, like look it up in the encyclopedia, you ain't supposed to have termites in the saying. They ain't supposed to be able to get enough water. But they're terrible here. But me and old Austin were talking about it. Y'all need to go check him out if you ain't checked him out. He's down home. He's got his daddy helping him. He's doing just like everybody else around here's always done, is work. Be careful of some of this new age mess and some of this stuff people tell you. That's a weed hoe. And that tool right there is the one that makes sure that the weeds and grass don't take your garden. And if you want to be organic, that is what you need, is a weed and hoe. And you need to use it. And you need to know how to use it. And you need to use it regular. They won't do it, though. They won't chop. Too lazy to chop. You try to tell somebody, well, you can keep that garden clean if you put that hoe in it. They won't do it. There's got to be an easier way. You know, our name, Homesteading the Hard Way, is kind of a little play on things. I don't really think we do everything the hard way. But the way we do things, there's some work in it. And I don't know anything that if you want to get a good result, or the best result you can, you ain't got to put some work in it. That these shortcuts and this people, especially some of these organic tricks, half of them don't work at all. And half of them probably only work in certain places. The wood chip gardens. We got a friend in Maine that has good luck with a wood chip garden. It will not work down here. We have too many fire ants, too many termites. We had somebody make some comments on some pig videos about deep mulch bedding. Wouldn't stink. Well, I got news for you on that. Deep mulch bedding is what they use in poultry houses. Worked around poultry houses my whole life. They already stinkingest thing that's ever been. I mean, there's lawsuits about how bad chicken houses stink with deep mulch bedding, especially when you clean them out, because you have to clean them out. They don't tell you that. They don't tell you the whole story. And me and Lawson were talking about, there's a lot of carefully selected camera angles and misleading stuff. There's a lot of things done if you're just starting out or hurt you. Now, if you already know what you're doing, you can spot it. You already know what I'm talking about. But if somebody trying to learn, you don't know who to listen to. And one thing I will tell you, we don't do nothing for looks. We don't do nothing for show. Whatever you see me doing, I'm doing. I ain't doing it special for YouTube. We ain't doing this channel trying to make no money. We're doing it to help people. And that's it. That's the way it works. You know, you see me chopping these, I guess that's cabbage there. This cause my cabbage needed chopping. It won't cause I was going to do a video. And with all this mess going on nowadays, it's going to be a little bit longer video than normal. But with all this mess going on nowadays, there's a lot of folks jumping out here trying to tend to my garden. I don't know what the deal is with pigs. I bet I've had 105 phone calls in the last 2 weeks wanting pigs, and I got 10. I got 10 I can say on 105 people wanting 3 apiece. I don't know how I'm going to handle that. But something y'all do need to know. All this takes time. You plant a crop, you got at least 2-3 months before you're going to get anything off of it. You buy a feeder pig, you got a few months before he's big enough to kill. You can't, this is something you got to plan ahead and do. This ain't something you can panic and do. I mean, it's good people are getting into it and they're getting their eyes opened that maybe this is not as crazy of an idea as people think it is. And what else did we talk about I want to hit on? Oh, how much it takes. Now, I don't know exactly how to word this, and I want to make sure I word it right, because it's important that I tell you right. If all you have room for is a few raised beds, or a few raised beds in a greenhouse, by all means do it. Are you going to be able to feed yourself off of that? Absolutely not. Will you be able to supplement your diet? Absolutely. Will you be able to supplement your diet with better food that tastes better? Absolutely. But are you going to feed a family of 4 solely off of that? Absolutely not. Are you going to feed a family of 4 off of 4 raised beds, a mini Jersey milk kind of coon pig? Absolutely not. But you'll be able to supplement what you had to buy, and it'll be better quality. What you raise yourself will be so much better quality, you'll wish you never had to go to the grocery store again. And the other thing I want to hit on is a lot, and I'll say this in previous videos, a lot of what ails your food ain't what the farmer did to it, it's what they did to it after it left the farm. The preservatives they put on it at the packing plant, the saline and chemicals they inject in the meat before they package it is what hurts you. It's not what the farmer did. And just to throw this in there, everybody's worried about antibiotics in the feed and growth hormones. They've been illegal for I don't know how long. You can't feed low-dose antibiotics. They stopped that because it was making all the bacteria antibiotic resistant. And growth hormones, I don't take this as the gospel. I know we can't do it now, but I don't know how long you ain't been able to do it. It's been a right good while since they let them do it. And they check for it. USDA is good about busting folks that don't do what they're supposed to. All this is stuff everybody just don't seem to know. You know, it's just things don't make no sense. Stuff I think is common knowledge to a farmer, that every farmer knows. Most of you new homesteaders just don't know. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to kind of fill in the gaps in the knowledge, because we figured out you could put that a ground unicorn horn was the best fertilizer in the world on Facebook, and everybody believed it. You know, anything you want to put on Facebook, they'll believe. And about half of what you put on YouTube. You got two kinds on YouTube. You got the ones that believe everything they hear, preach it to everybody else, and you got the ones that don't believe nothing. There ain't really no in between. But it takes, we got two gardens, the other one's twice the size of this one. And we can put a dent in our groceries, in our vegetables. And there's some things we can grow all we'll ever want. We can grow all the cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, squash, cucumbers, all that we'd ever want on 2 rows. But when you get into corn, potatoes, peas, and beans, it takes some land to grow enough sweet corn for a family for the year. It takes some land to grow enough butter beans, some land to grow enough string beans. Peppers, a raised bed, you can take a one 4x8 raised bed, raise all the squash and peppers you want in the same bed. But if you really want to put up stuff for a year, you got to tend the spot now. You can't, a row of butter beans, as long as that we know, ain't gonna feed you. You ain't gonna make a pot of soup. Every bean you got off of it all year. And I don't think people understand that. You know, I've said it before, we kill 6 hogs a year and almost run out of pork. We kill a 900 to 1,000 pound steer every year, and we do run out of beef. How many months that year we spent out of beef? 2 or 3?
Yeah.
We run out of beef a long time before the year's over with. And chickens, this is something else I got a little problem with. I see these folks all the time. They got 25 chickens, right? That's their chickens for the year. They'll make a big deal about their meat birds. They're raising these Cornish cross meat birds. And something else I tell you, as far as a meat bird, any fast-growing chicken works for a meat bird. Traditionally, laying hen roosters are what you buy at the grocery store. But if you think about it a little bit, let's just say that you eat chicken twice a week with a family of 4. That means bare minimum you got to cook 2 chickens a week. How many weeks are there in a year?
52.
52. So that'd be 104 chickens at 1 chicken twice a week. And if 2 of them family of 4 is a teenage boy that eat a chicken by herself, that's just 2 meals a week. You know, just folks need to use a little bit of common sense. There's a lot of this mess ain't right. But I got to finish chopping. And I want you to understand something. You can do this. If you can't do it all, do some. If you can't grow everything you eat, grow some of what you eat. I don't care. I ain't going to talk about you to poke fun at you if you got flower pots with squash plants in them. That's doing something. Do what you can. If you can't do it all, do what you can. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Just be realistic about it. Understand what you're doing. It'll save you a lot of time. It'll save you a lot of trouble. Forget about half this mess you've been told, because half of it ain't true. Ain't no truth in it. There's a lot we could talk about. There's no truth in it whatsoever. It's just something somebody made sound good, and everybody jumped on it and believes it. And just remember, you can do this. Go check out Lawson Lawn and Farm. Hopefully he'll see this video and put a comment, because we don't know how to do links. You go there and check on his comment, go to his channel. But you'll never plow a field and turn it over in your mouth. So get out here, get your weeding hoe, get the rust brightened off it, drag it through the dirt a little bit, put you some seeds in the ground, and get after it. And we'll talk to you later, and I hope you have a good evening.